just now.
Enjoy.
Thanks, Boo. You can talk to me too. It's like not forbidden. I'm just gonna see if this works since it's our first rodeo, eh? My first real rodeo. Let's see if this is working. Yeah, this is working. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. I don't know if I'll be able to see the chat is thing. We're gonna see. I'm just gonna test this really quick. Hi. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Error sending messages. I can't comment on my own thing. I don't know. We'll see. Hi. I don't know if this is gonna work. We'll find out. Okay, so that is working. Okay, cool. Sweet, just checking. Okay, hi everybody. So today we are going to draw a spectator. If you are familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, you might be familiar with this creature, but for those of you who might not be, I figured I would tell you a little about them. Spectators are essentially creatures that were ripped from their own plane of existence because they don't exist on the same plane as you and me. They are essentially slaves. So that's fun. And they are forced into servitude for, I think it's 101 years that they are forced to be working with whoever has summoned them into their plane. So you can basically attach a spectator to an object. You can also use like a scroll. You can attach them to a place, and basically, they have to serve their masters for that period of time. What was I going to say? Yeah, so today we're going to go ahead and draw. We're going to doodle out our spectator, but I realized last night that I did not really like the placement, so I just want to move this around a tiny little bit here. Get it a little bit toward the top of the screen, actually. And for those of you joining us online, there is definitely going to be a slight delay between when I'm talking and when you can actually see stuff that's going on. So if it takes me minutes to respond, don't be discouraged. It's just the technology. So I'm going to start with kind of our background here. And today's color scheme is going to be purple and teal, two of my favorite colors, but I've actually never painted with them together. So we'll see how it goes. Let's pop this bad boy out. Okay, we want a purple. I'm going to get like a very nice, like deep purple here. Not quite black purple, but pretty damn close. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I just remembered. I want to make this kind of a bit more red so we can kind of deepen this color. Oops. Hello? There we go. So I'm going to just give us a base coat here pretty quickly. And the light's going to be coming from kind of behind him. It does kind of look like he has eyelashes, doesn't it? I'm going to have to fix that. Anyways, so the light's going to be kind of coming from behind him a little bit. So we're going to start to lay in some of that value. And I'm going to lay over a very nice, actually we should go more like that, yeah. We're going to start to lay in the very, very deep purple here, but I need to drop my opacity a bit. Hello, whoever's here. Sanu Nam, are you watching me? Are you watching me on YouTube?
No.
Okay, so somebody really is here. Hello. You can comment in the thing and I'll see it if you want to chat. You don't have to. What I'm doing right now is I'm laying the base coat basically for our painting. And I'm going to give it just a little bit of an environment around our creature, which now that it's very dark, it doesn't want to focus on that. So I'm very sorry. It looked fine when the background was white, but now we can't see it. We got a window reflection. Is that better? Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm kind of laying down a base coat just for the background here to try and like make sure that there's a little bit of environment, a little bit of space that's going on here. And then what do I want to do here? So I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I want to start to bring in this very kind of cool light. We're going to come back and do more layers in this background in a little bit. But this is mostly this is mentally for me to know where the light's coming from. So we're going to add in a little bit of teal, kind of doing this sort of thing. Going to get a nice little glow going. I have a point. I have a purpose to this, I promise. I promise. Okay. Basically kind of laying out where this glow is going to go. Yeah, so spectators are pretty cool, but pretty sad because they have to, live their entire life in servitude, which is pretty unpleasant. I think that's a pretty not fun way to live your life. Okay, let's get a really dark version of this. And I really like, especially for backgrounds, I really like, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, there we go. I really like to layer. So we're going to kind of just lay in some shapes. This is going to take me a couple of minutes here. Yeah, something like this. I just kind of want the impression that there's some land back here behind this guy. So he's not just sort of floating in space, which I have a long history of people kind of just floating in space, yeah. Okay, and then we're going to erase some of this here. It's not going to be the cleanest eraser job ever, but that's not what we want right now. Okay, so I have the very rough background done. This is extremely rough. Gosh, that's really shiny. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's like ultra shiny today. I tested this 2 times and it wasn't that shiny. So I'm sorry, the colors don't really look as nice on the camera. We'll try and make it look better. We'll get there. Okay, so we have some very rough background layers. I think I'm going to actually do one more with a nice dark blue. Because basically I like to imagine that this guy is just sort of awoken from a slumber and really pissed off. I'm going to spend too much time here because, like I said, we're going to come back to this in a little bit. And now what I'd like to do, actually, hang on a moment, one more thing. Woohoo! Okay, we've got our rough for the background, and now I need to lay in the base coats for the actual spectator, which is going to take a little bit longer. I'm going to essentially put a singular color on this bad boy, and then we're going to highlight it, low light it, and then add some details. So I really like this brush, this fade sketch brush that I'm going to use here. I really like that for this part. But you can find what works for you. Let me grab history. Where's my history? Cards. I don't know where my history is. Okay, let me grab. Here it is. That color. Okay, and let me see if I can auto. Oop. Nope. There we go. Wrong layer. Would help if I was on the right layer. Oh my gosh. Hee hee, this is fun. And also shows me that I did not select my stuff properly, but that's all right. We're gonna go ahead and do a rough cut then. Let's do a little bit lighter because we need a nice like medium purple. Okay. I'm gonna do this about medium opacity, about medium purple color. And we're gonna come back and clean this up in a minute. So it's gonna go on here pretty rough. Get up into this eye stalk. Beholders are pretty creepy. So like if you have not ever played against a beholder, just something that you can know about them is that they have a separate attack for every eye stalk that they have. So like most characters in D&D only have like one, or if you're like really high level, you might have multiple attack, but especially like low level creatures usually only get one attack. Like when you're level 1 or whatever, you only get a singular attack. So going up against a spectator when you're low level is just, it's impossible. You can't do it because they actually can eye blast you with every single eye that they have. So if they have 4 eye stalks, in this case, they can attack you 4 times, which is miserable. Sounds like no fun to me. Hang on just a second. I just realized I can do something here. Sorry, one moment. Goodness. Okay. Sorry, one moment. So I'm like beating up stuff. Oh. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to lay in this like basically base coat of drawing here. And then I'm going to come back through. We need a much sharper shape, and we're going to clean up these edges. So I am very much about like make rough and then make better. So we can really kind of sharpen this up, because the thing about our spectator and also just sort of my illustration style is that they have lots of sharp points. So I'm going to start to add in some of those sharp points with my eraser in here. So we've got this like really nice, sharp corner to that edge here with our spectator. So nice. We're starting to sharpen up kind of one of these edges of the stalk. Ooh, sorry about that slow kind of fade out there. And we'll go in. We're going to clean up some more lines. Hang on a second. Oh, I put this on the wrong layer. Oh, well. Oh, well. That'll have to do. Oh, my microphone is muffled. Thanks, TikTok, for telling me that. Yeah, so we're just going to sharpen up some edges here. And I'm very much a like add and subtract kind of person. So we're going to add a nice little base layer coat here. For those of you joining us on TikTok, I am also streaming this on YouTube and Twitch. Okay, we've got kind of the rough outline of one eye stalk here. Let's grab the next one. I try not to spend absolutely too much time here. Mostly I just need a base coat for color. So it doesn't need to be perfect, because we're going to actually come back in and do this again and again and again. Sorry, one second. There we go. I want to fix this because it's not how I wanted it. And that's the beauty of an iPad, is you can just erase stuff when it doesn't go as you planned. Yeah, it's true. Okay, I've kind of got the outline of a couple eye stalks here. I'm going to go and finish this. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to just finish cleaning up these eye stalks, and we're going to do some lowlights and some highlights, and we'll really start to see this guy come together. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotions for your channel. You are kind of bothering me. Yeah, sorry, buddy. So I just wanted to let people know who are in marketing. So my job is in marketing. Um, and I really hate it when people like interrupt your live to try and like market their products, and also DM. If I wanted help, I would look for it. But thank you very much for the spam comment. I'm very intolerant of that kind of stuff. So sorry if you can hear me ranting into the void. Yeah, okay, so we got a couple eye stalks outlined here. Let me fix this last little piece up on the top. And we'll go ahead and do this one. Upside down spectator. Upside down spectator. I have a model packed. Sorry. How's everybody doing today, by the way, while I'm making these little wiener arms? Oh, they left. It must have been them. Okay, let's draw in this area here. Somehow I've erased half of this. How did I do that? I don't even know. Whatever. I'll color that in again. Thankfully, it's not an important layer. Probably did that when I was ranting. Hang on a second. I want to see if I can. Apologies. I didn't realize that was going to knock over. And yeah, there we go. Okay. I actually don't know what platform that came from. Oh, thanks to whoever liked the live. I'm sorry that was a very delayed response on my end. Okay. So recently I was playing Baldur's Gate, which is like one of my favorite games. Honestly, ever. It's like Skyrim, but better, which is saying something because I played Skyrim for like just an absurd number of hours. For my like entire university career, I played Skyrim. And I love about Baldur's Gate that they fixed a lot of things. My microphone's being used by another app. I don't know what it's being used by. I'm sorry. Not sure what app is using my microphone. Okay, so, oh yeah, one more spot. This is why we double check, eh? Okay, got it. So let's go ahead and lay the base coat here for our like shadows, and we're going to do like an add and take away kind of method here where we're going to add a little bit of color and take away a little bit of color and add a little bit of color and take away a little bit of color. But instead of having just this base coat here where we have kind of all the stuff really loosely sketched out, this is where we're going to start to really see like the light, the shape, the shadow, and all of this stuff. I don't know what app is using my microphone. Sorry, my phone's like yelling at me and I don't know what it's yelling at me about. So this is going to take a little bit of time because I really want to make sure that my shadows are laid properly. So I really want to think about the planes and where the light is coming from, what my light source is. So my light source is really up in this top corner and it's shining from behind him. So I want to make sure that closer to the eye, we have a really dark shadow and we have our darkest shadows here. And as we get toward the edges of the spectator, it's going to be a little bit lighter. So I think what I'm going to do is actually start in the eye. Ooh, she's massive. Now she's too small. We'll get there. We'll get there. So we're going to add some shadow into some areas. And it's going to take me, this again is going to take me a while because I really want to make sure that this is accurate. And that being said, please feel free to chat, message. Yeah, you're part of this too now. You're part of the crew. So you get to ask questions if you want. Okay, nice. We got some nice little shadow lines in there. Okay. So right now we're adding some shade. And I'll show you a little magic trick here in a second because this is going to look pretty messy, eh? Kind of looks like he's got eyelashes. Beautiful. I'll show you in a second what we're going to do with that. So we've got a plan. There's a plan. Will it go according to plan? Probably not. 'Tis the way of art. 'Tis the way of art to not go as planned. Okay, I just want to finish this sort of upper, like snarling lip kind of area here with our shadows. I just want to check and see if this is working before we deeply invest in doing this through the whole creature. Okay. Let me just check and see if this is working. I'm going to show you guys, yeah, my little life hack for creating really sharp shapes. Also, if you are watching this on TikTok, you're probably wondering like why this is on here and not my art TikTok. And the reason is that there's a limit, like they won't let you live stream unless you have like 1,000 followers or something, and that account's brand new. So they won't let me stream on there. Okay, so this is where we're going to start to sharpen some shapes, which for a beholder is going to be spectator, which is a lesser beholder, but still not the same thing. We're going to start to kind of sharpen up some of these angles here. And I might actually change brushes. Okay, we're going to keep adding in and taking away and adding in and taking away. Oh, my spine. Yeah, I think I might need to change brushes. Just give me a second here. I want to see if I can. We're kind of experimenting a little bit, so I just want to see if this is going to do what I need it to do. Let me make sure my color scheme's kind of working a little bit. I'm not entirely sold on it. I might need to change this one. And you know, I am actually going to change to my favorite brush, which should be in here. Yeah, this guy. Because I think this is going to give me, more the vibe I want. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm so sorry if you heard me burp. That was a really disgusting noise. Okay. Mostly I'm just testing out our color scheme here, seeing if this is going to work for us, and I think it will. So let's invest. We've got some base coats going. This is going to take a while, guys, so hold on tight. Ah, geez, sorry, I gotta stretch my back here really quick. I was like hunched over in such a weird position. Hunched over. Okay. I like where we're at right now. I know it doesn't look like it's headed in the direction we want, but it is. It absolutely is. Okay. Decaf coffee is the blessing of the gods. That's all I'm saying. Ah. Oh my god, my arms are so sore from yesterday. Good lord. Oh, yeah, my poor shoulders, man. My shoulders are sore here. I just was testing if it's working. It's working. It's inception. All right, so I'm kind of laying in some of these dark colors here. I just realized that we can actually get rid of that layer for right now. So we're laying in some kind of shadows here in this sort of range. And we're going to start connecting some currently unconnected points. Spectators are very sharp creatures. They are very pointy and they want to stab you. So my goal is to really make it very, very, very pointy, very, very, very sharp, very scary looking. Like if you saw this guy, he would probably poo your pants. He would pants your poo. Also, if you'd like to join for any future drawing sessions, my plan is to slowly, over time, I'm going to paint the entire monster manual. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do a beholder after the spectator. And I do also really like the version of beholders called the Death Tyrant, which is like a skull version of the beholder, basically. And it's cool because its eye kind of looks like a crystal. Spooky boy. How does he look? Sorry, my webcam like really doesn't want to focus on this at all. I apologize. Let me see if this helps. Sorry, 1 second. Oh my gosh. Kind of? That kind of helped. I don't know. Not really. That didn't really help at all, actually. That's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. Just live stream number 1, that's all. Okay. Yeah, the Death Tyrant is pretty cool. I've actually never fought one, or I've never actually even seen one, but like in gameplay or anything. But I really like their character design. I don't know why, but I just like really like skulls and maybe it's the former metalhead in me. Come on, camera, you can focus. There you go. Okay, kind of. Maybe I need like an anti-reflective surface on my iPad. Shows I fucked up my teeth. Okay, anyways. What part should we do next? Maybe down here? I've got kind of like a strange glow going on. Yeah, let me try to see if I can fix this. We want a little bit of a glow, but not that color. That looks unintentional. There we go. Okay. Let me go back to my shadow portion of the gig. It's this part. Oh, okay. One of my favorite Pokemons has the funniest name. His name is Tyrunt, and he's like a small Tyrannosaurus Rex. Emoji? Oh, that must have been my hand. I'm notorious for resting my hand on the screen and causing problems. Okay, so we're gonna loosely. Okay. Come on, camera. There we go. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I keep hitting the thing. Womp. Is that okay? Camera. Sorry, we have like a major reflection issue, so I think next week I'm gonna have to change the location of my desk. And really quick, I'm just gonna plug my computer in because she's dying. Okay, time to listen to some more thematic music. Hey Sass, I just started doodling again on Procreate too. Last night, it's been hard doing digital art. I'm used to painting with acrylics on canvas. I totally empathize with that. Drawing on how can I say, drawing on an iPad is so different than drawing on like an actual like paper surface or on canvas. I actually didn't do digital art until about a year ago. I started out, just on canvas the same. Like canvas is a very tactile surface. And for me, I think the hardest part about moving to iPad painting was that, or like digital painting, maybe I can say, the hardest part about that for me was like, I can't feel when something's happening. You know what I mean? Like the physical sensation is entirely different when it comes to digital painting. And I think for a lot of us as artists, that's something we really like. I can't speak for everybody, but it's definitely something I really liked. And the advice that I have, if you're looking for it, is that it does get easier, I promise. Especially when you find like the brushes that you like. I think that for me was a big struggle, just trying to find brushes that did what I wanted them to do. Because like as a more traditional style painter, in terms of like using a canvas, we know what brushes do what, and we know what to expect when we use those brushes, right? But it's it's totally different on an iPad. It is totally different. Can totally resonate. Yeah, it's like it's a I don't know. Just really quickly before we come back into like laying more base coat for this bad boy, I'll kind of show you my process, like my progress, I guess. This is the first thing I ever drew on an iPad. And I mean, it wasn't bad. It was literally just me like, oh my gosh, that is not picking up any of the colors. I'm sorry. This is kind of a lime green, but it's 0% showing on the screen. So this is where I started, but the last thing I painted was this one. So this is over a year going from that first painting, that lime green one I was showing you, to this dragon that I finished a couple of days ago. So practice definitely helps. Using different brushes, experimenting with different design styles and things. It's been hard finding and making changes. Totally. Yeah, layers are also something that I really struggled with for a long time. Like, because since you can like on a real painting, you don't have the ability to just go back and like erase something really specific, you know? You have to just like fix it by adding more. And so for me, like being able to be like, oh, well, I just want to get rid of this layer. That was such a weird, it still blows my mind. I'm like, oh man, I can just go and edit something that's really deep in the in the layers here. Also, let me see. I'm gonna experiment with brightness here and see if I can't get my camera to focus a little bit better on there. There we go. Okay, that's a little easier to see. But yeah, being able to edit like anything was so strange to me because yeah, you can be very tactful, like have a tactic. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Tactful. I think that's the word. Yeah, yeah. You can like have a tactic with how you layer things, but for me, it has taken me a long time, and I am not organized with my layers even now. I'm not gonna lie. It's something I'm working on over time. So true. I feel almost bad for erasing the layer. Same. I'm like, but that's something I made. I don't want to get rid of it. I'm like, I don't want to get rid of it. I built it. It's mine. It's mine. My own. My precious. Oh my gosh. I'm glad it's not just me. I just hide it, but I don't ever erase the layer. Like, so there's a lot of layers in my paintings that are hidden, but they're still there, just taking up space on my hard drive. I love them. I love keeping the layers so much. Oh my goodness. I'm not convinced of this corner's shadow. We might need to edit that. I'll start working my way up this eye stalk here. What kind of stuff do you like to create? What kind of images are you interested in making? Thanks for the tip. I had mine too. I'm glad it's not just me. My gosh, yeah. I'm so guilty. I'm like, well, that didn't go how I wanted it, so I'll just try again. Woohoo. That is now something I really like about the iPad because I feel like, yeah, in painting, if you mess it up, it's just messed up. It's probably gonna just stay messed up. Painting is fun, isn't it? Okay, we're making some progress. That eye stalk wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I think the brightness is better if I have the screen a little bit brighter. It seems to be showing up a little bit more. Okay. Good. Also, something I really love about digital painting is something that I'm going to do here in a minute. I'll kind of show you what I mean. There's something you can do in digital painting that you can't do with like traditionally painted artworks. At least I didn't know if I could. I never did it when I did. Where you put something in and then you can like come back in and sharpen it with your eraser. So you can actually change the shape of your painted line. And for me, I really like this because it allows me to paint a little bit faster. And I really like how it ends up looking. Like I draw a lot of characters that are. Oh yeah, okay, this is the right layer. I thought I drew this on the wrong layer and I was gonna be really upset. I'm like, frig. A lot of the stuff that I've been drawing lately has like very, very sharp edges. And so this is one of the ways to kind of create that extremely sharp edge. Right now I'm doing fan art. I really haven't been doing much art or set aside time to be creative. I've been focused on work. So I'm getting back to sketching and just warming up again. Yeah, I can 100% empathize with that. 100%. It's Wait, I think I know you actually. I was like, wait a second, I know that picture. Sorry, it's so tiny on my screen. But yeah, work is such a distraction from creativity. It's hard to like balance the two because when you're tired, it's hard to, especially like mental fatigue, you know what I mean? Like mental fatigue is the worst because it makes us not want to be creative. Yeah, okay, we do know each other. I was like, I do know this person. Hi, hello. It's so nice to see you. It's been so flippin' long. I was in Moscow a couple of months ago, but I think I was only there for like a day. And man, it made me very happy and very sad. I realized that I really do miss that town, and um, sometimes, well, other than Doug Wilson, I miss that town. Doug Wilson's such a weirdo, man. Like, I weep for the future if he is what the future brings. He's a terrible human, but I don't actually miss it enough to go back, but I do look very fondly upon my time at U of I. Yeah, he's the worst, man. Doug Wilson. I hate that time. 100% mental fatigue. I'm not in Moscow anymore since May. Ooh, where did you move to? I think I actually saw something about this on social media, so I'm sorry that I have kind of deleted that information from my brain. He is. He's a psychopath, man. I really hate that guy. Remember his ad where he like caught the Palouse on fire and he was like, ah, it's the time is coming. And I was like, I really hope not, man. I really hope your time isn't coming. May 2022, awesome. Treasure Valley, nice. Ooh, I love it down there. The weather's a little bit less cabin fevery compared to the north part of Idaho. Although I have to be totally honest, I do miss northern Idaho like a lot. I don't miss the racists or the weird cult stuff, but I miss the geography. There you go. That's kind of focused. I really miss the geography of Idaho. And yeah, there's a quote that I like from a very cheesy movie that probably you've seen called Garden State. But I really like when Natalie Portman and I can't remember that other actor's name. They're like sitting and they're talking, and he says that he's homesick for a place that isn't home anymore. Like if you can't go back. It's like impossible to return to that place in that time. But you feel like a homesickness for it. Northern Idaho seasons, they're the best. There's something about that like very open, empty, sleepy, wide, very deep solitude that is there that at the time I really don't think I understood how much I loved and needed that. And sometimes these days I think about it just because I live in like one of the biggest cities in the world, and there's a lot of benefits that come with that, but it's also like sometimes I think about Idaho and I'm just like, God, I really wish I could go back there right now. Just get a little bit of space, just a little bit of seasons. And oh, and that area around McCall is so beautiful. Any time of year, those mountains, the snow, the trees, it smells so good. The rivers are pristine, just it's really just a wonderland, to be honest. And I don't know. I mean, I know that I appreciated it, but I don't know if I appreciated it as fully as I really could have at the time. But that's life, I guess. We live and we learn. I haven't been to Treasure Valley in a while, though. What? I've actually never lived there. I've just driven through a few times. How is Ye olde Treasure Valley. What's it like down there? A little bit warmer, a little bit politically. I'm trying to figure out how to say this delicately. A little bit politically interesting is the impression that I have of my limited experience in that area. It's warmer, awesome. That is one nice thing. Sometimes, anyway. So much traffic. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Do a lot of people live down there? I feel like Idaho got weirdly popular in the last couple of years, and I'm not really sure who did that marketing, but they seem to have done a good job. Yeah. My husband and I are actually talking about moving to Boise or Meridian, but I think he in particular would be very not happy with that. I miss being able to speak my mind. Yeah. Same. Same. I feel like, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I know people have different opinions or whatever, and I'm supposed to be respectful, blah. But like, yeah, it's hard because in Korea you get all kinds of people, and you really can't tell like what kind of background or political affiliation somebody has. Like sometimes I'm surprised by the things that I hear from people. And yeah, so I don't talk about a lot of stuff here just because I feel like I have to tread so lightly about topics. And like it's really interesting here too because some of the people really are just like super like pro Korea, like they think Korea can do no wrong for some reason. I don't know why, but a lot of people here think that, oh, Korea is perfect and wonderful and amazing, and like it's super corrupt, guys. Like, and you can just say it's corrupt, it's okay. But I don't say anything because I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to face the consequence of the anger I may potentially awaken in someone. So I really miss in Moscow just being able to like have a conversation about something that was important. It's like important subjects, you know? These are really, yeah. Oh, sorry. I just realized my paint is knocked over. That's not good. It's changing from rural to urban. Treasure Valley has 2 of the largest counties in Idaho. Oh, I gotcha. It makes me really sad. Oh man. I mean, I know it's the way of the future, whatever, that like it's inevitable that this kind of thing will happen, but like I'm from Washington State and I'm from a very like not popular part of the state. It rains 9 or 10 months out of the year. Like there is a reason that Nirvana's from Washington, right? It's a sad place. And I love it because I'm from there. But for people who are not from there, I don't understand the appeal, I guess. And I watched my hometown go from like a very private, very kind of pretty, like tight knit little community to like full of people moving out of Portland, Oregon, who were just like looking for cheaper housing. And like I recently looked at houses in my hometown. I have no interest in going back there, but I just looked at prices and they're crazy. They're like, you know, $1,500 a month for like a tiny 2-bedroom, like in an old unit. And I'm like, get out of my state. Like everybody like go away. And so like I left because I didn't, you know, want to deal with that anymore. And like not to dog on people from California. Some of them are fine, but a lot of people fleeing from California wrecked Washington State. They really did. Like Washington does not have the infrastructure that is required to support that many people. Idaho's the same. And too many people are moving into these areas, and it's just like really damaging the ecosystem and changing the culture. And sometimes that's not for the best. Same here. Yeah, it's so frustrating. Idaho, get out of Idaho, go away. I feel kind of bad because, like, I'm an immigrant, right? Like, I live in Korea, and I'm sure a lot of people in Korea are like, immigrants, go away, understandably. So I detect the intense irony of me saying that, but I also am just like, just get, why, yeah, go away, yeah, go away. That part is, yeah, crazy. The world is so wild. I don't know. I'd love to move home, but I don't know that that's in the cards. I mean, houses are crazy in Korea, but we have momentum in that direction. We are looking at houses in the States and, like, oh my good Lord, they're crazy. I don't understand what's going on with that. I mean, I kind of do, but I mostly don't. So there's like a reflection from my hand, and it's like kind of doing this weird thing to the image. Anyways, I forgot what I was going to say. Doesn't matter. Yeah, just moving. I think it's a natural tendency with humanity. I miss the I miss the sleepy quiet of my youth, and I feel like there's like nowhere that I can find that anymore. Just feel like it's just no matter where I go, it's too many people and overstimulating, and everybody's like mega competitive, and the job market sucks, and housing sucks. Like, just the world is like in a bit of a fire. Oh, some people joined us. Hello, thank you for coming. Feel free to join in the chat if you'd like. Happy to answer questions or just talk. It is. I moved back after 9+ years, and there's been so much change. Oh my gosh, yeah, I can imagine. Like, I went to my parents live in the Tri-Cities in Washington, and when we went back home, and I don't even remember when we were there last, but yeah, when we went and visited, like, just the amount of things that have altered in the last few years, like, it's just crazy how many things have shifted, and how much has altered in a short period. You know, as we were traveling around in the summer, my husband and I were playing this game that was like, is that cheaper in, oh yeah, we called it cheaper in Korea. And with like anything, food, houses, whatever, we would kind of say like, oh, is this cheaper in Korea? And most of it was cheaper in Korea, except for phones and houses. So the housing situation here in Korea is also terrible, as I'm sure you can imagine, because that seems to just be like a global problem right now, which is sad. There we go. Yeah, I start coming in hot. He's starting to look a little bit like a spectator. That's good. Yeah, housing's just crazy. Like, we just for fun, I like to look at houses like all around the world. All around the world, statues crumble for me. Yeah, so we looked at the houses that are. We live in like a very, very, very small apartment, and it's super tiny. Like, I know you can't see him and he can't hear us, but my husband's over there, like 5 feet away from me, because that's our living room. That's like the space that we have, right? And that's okay. We like each other, but it's like, yeah, the house across the street from us, for a 3-bedroom house, to buy it, and it's not even a house, it's an apartment. To buy it is $2 million. $2 million for an apartment. This isn't New York City. What the? I just remember looking at that and I was like, why? I was like, for what purpose? Yeah, so Korea is just bananas, like, and I don't know, it looks like America's not really doing that much better in terms of housing. So I don't know what to do, and I feel like a lot of us are really struggle busing with trying to figure out what our next steps are. Yeah, housing is global. It's like, it's gotten so awful in the last year in particular. I don't know how anybody expects us to be able to weather this as humanity. You know, when we were in high school, when we were in university, I remember people, like, oh yeah, if you go into marketing at this one, you'll get $100,000 for your salary. And I remember all of us in the uni were like salivating over that. We're like, oh my god, $100,000. $100,000 is like nothing now. It's like you're not doing anything if you're making 100K. It's just the world is a little bit scary, which I think is part of the reason. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Mostly I just think they're flipping cool, but there's a lot of reasons that I really like fantasy and have been like really delving back into it again recently. Because it's nice to imagine a world where all you have to worry about is fighting these guys. I think that might be why humanity seems to be getting behind fantasy all of a sudden too. Like, when Lord of the Rings came out, and like there was a group of people that were super obsessed, but overall it was like considered a very nerdy thing. And in the time, being a nerd was not considered like a good or positive thing. I remember getting picked on in high school for that, which is okay. I've made my peace with it. But yeah, the world has changed a lot. Now being a nerd is sort of like a given thing where people are like, oh, if you don't play games, that's kind of weird, which is odd to me, considering the amount of crap that I used to get for that. But I prefer that people can just do what they want and not be made fun of for it. But I do think that there's like, I think the world is getting more open to fantasy and storytelling, and just like, I think a big part of that is just this sort of disillusion with being alive. That was really blunt. I'm sorry. I feel like a lot of us are just like, overwhelmed with life. And so we're not really fully wanting to invest in reality these days. Hang on a second. I just want to clean something up here. Yeah, reality's for the lame. I'm just kidding. Okay, we're almost done with our shadows, y'all. We're almost there. Almost there. We're going to keep adding a lot of layers. We're maybe like 25% of the way through this. Oops, not my eraser. Come on, boy. There we go. I am extremely grateful for things like iPads in the modern era, because since I do live in such a small house, I don't have an area where I can like actually paint. So this has been a very nice way for me to still paint without killing me or other people with chemicals. Love it. Thank you. I'm having a lot of fun drawing creatures. Also, if you're into fantasy at all, and you just like, even if you don't want to necessarily invest in like getting fully into D&D, sorry, my hair's kind of driving me crazy. I just need to move this. I've recently found a PDF version of the Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. And you'll notice on the front of it is our friend. So the spectator that we're drawing is a smaller version of this guy who's the beholder. But this book is super awesome because it has like all of the bad guys. Well, not all of them, but many of the bad guys from D&D. So yeah, if you're just looking for inspiration, sometimes I just like flip through this and I'm like, who's the scary one today? Who should we fight in our next battle? Yeah, also Baldur's Gate. If you want to play D&D but you don't know anybody who's like into it, Baldur's Gate is a great way to get into Dungeons and Dragons with like very low, like the bar to entry is not high, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, Baldur's Gate is incredible. And the people who made it are flipping nerds, and I love it. I love nerds. Fun subset of human beings. Usually. Except guys who like play Call of Duty competitively sometimes. I'm just kidding. I'm sure there's douchebags in every community, right? But I've noticed, especially in D&D, that people are like really, really, really nice. Generally. There's always going to be like one guy who's like, well, at my table. And you're like, cool. I'm glad. But most, like, I'm going to say probably 98% of people are really chill and they just want to have fun, tell silly stories. Like, my character in Baldur's Gate is called Shablanx because why? I don't know. Because I didn't think his name was going to show up 100 times in the game, which was ignorant of me, I suppose, but that's all right. Okay, guys, so I think we've got our major shadows, except I just want to do something here really quick about this because this shape is bothering me. Which is why we check to see how things are going. Yeah, that game is super fun. Shablanx is a half-elf barbarian, just because, just because. You don't get any race benefits for being a half elf, but I liked it. At least if you're a barbarian, you don't get any race perks. But I really like, I really like my character. He's so silly. And then in the D&D game that I'm playing with some friends, we do. Oh yeah, we're gonna do like kind of a teal color with this. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. And then let's. Sorry, I'm thinking and talking at the same time, and that's not going well for me. There we go. Let's just delete that because I don't want that layer. And then we need this pen. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I play a version of D&D that's called Dungeon World, and Dungeon World is really awesome because it's like D&D but way less complicated. D&D just has like so many rules and so many things, like things that you can modify. So it's a lot of math, and it's especially for like the DM. If you have like a large group of players, every player has like different abilities and stuff, and you have to track all of that stuff, which can be like a huge pain in the butt. Um, I mean, I think it's pretty fun, but for players, it can be annoying because it can just like take a lot of time to like calculate certain outcomes. And you have to make a lot of rolls, and sometimes people just don't like that, which is totally fair. So we recently started playing a version of D&D called Dungeon World, and the rules are a lot simpler. So you really only roll for like a few things, and um, yeah, you don't have as many like skill modifiers, and there's not as many like items that can give you like extra super powers or whatever. So for the DM, the dungeon master. It's a lot easier to control. And in that game, I'm playing the stupidest character I've ever played, and I love him. His name is Baldric, and he's a bard. And he just like does really dumb stuff, like tries to help his friends and fails horrifically, and tries to hit on every lady in town. Baldric is a lot of fun to play. So if you're feeling disillusioned with life, it's a great place to go. Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, we're starting to get some of the kind of glowing light in, and then we're going to have to come back after this sort of glowing phase. I'm going to need to erase some shapes and kind of put in some more layers, but mostly I want to make myself aware of where our brightest points are going to be on this bad boy so I don't accidentally color over them. We can start to get a really nice kind of shape effect going here. Thanks. Yeah, thank you for coming, everybody. This is really a pleasure. And I'm a pretty open book, so if anybody wants to ask anything or chat about anything, I'm open. I like to look at it from an outside perspective in case you're wondering why I'm glaring at the screen. Can you focus on that, please, webcam? That is a very high contrast point, so maybe that's why it's having a hard time. That's all right. That's all right. Oh, for anybody out there who's played games, I recently saw that I think it was Amazon Prime is making a Fallout TV show. It doesn't look good. And it makes me sad because I love Fallout so much. And I'm curious if we're just really so starved for ideas as like movie makers that we just have to steal ideas from games. And I don't know. I'm hopeful because the head, like one of the producers of the show, was also like working at Bethesda on the game. So fingers crossed. Okay, we're getting somewhere now, guys. We're getting somewhere now. Yeah, digital painting definitely. I'm getting faster, but it's still pretty slow. Like I watch people online sometimes do this stuff. I'm like, holy snap, y'all! Like just impressively like complicated pieces. I'm like, wow, man, like, and they do them so fast. So someday I shall have the skills, but it is not this day. Actually, I want to fix that. I haven't decided if I miss America. I am Miss America. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't decided if I miss the States or not, and I think I do. Yeah, it's having a really hard time with that green. My camera really doesn't want to show that green color. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to make it show up. It's like such a viscerally bright green color, and there's like kind of a shine. Let's see if I can get that to show up. I don't know. What do I miss the most? That's a great question. I think I miss being around people in an environment where you can talk to each other. Like maybe it's not political, but Americans, we can just talk to each other and like have a conversation like in public. So if you're like, I don't know, standing on the street corner and you see something going on, you can like walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" And that's not unusual for Americans. We might be a little bit suspicious that you want something, right? We'll be like, "Oh, I don't know," or something like this. But it's not that unusual for us to have communication. In Korea, no, definitely not. Like they don't want to talk to you unless they have to, unless there's some sort of like, I don't know, you're buying something and they're an employee. But if I walk up to someone on the street and I start talking to them, they might find that really unusual. And the only people that really do that kind of thing in Korea are like people who are trying to basically get people to join their cult. And I wish that that was a lie, but it's true. Like Korea is kind of famous for its cults, unfortunately. So I miss just being able to talk to people. Like, in the States, like if somebody's doing something rude, people I mean, usually gently, it depends, unless they're Karen, but people will usually gently be like, "Hey, like don't do that," or "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" Like for example, if somebody's like listening to music super loud in public, somebody might be like, "Hey, can you turn that down?" And like it might annoy the person who's listening to the music. But again, in our culture, this isn't taboo. But in Korea, if I were to say that to somebody, especially if they're older than me, that's a big no-no. I'm not allowed to do that. And so you've got a lot of elderly people here that are like, by our cultural American measurement, extremely rude. Like because in Korea, if you're older, you are higher on the hierarchy, which I mean, in some ways is a good thing. But in other ways, it just means that they tend to be incredibly entitled. And so like I've had older people like elbow me in the ribs and like talk about me like I'm not in the room, or listen to music on full blast on their phone. And nobody's allowed to say anything. We just have to listen to their music or listen to their full volume conversation while they yell at each other on the subway. And I really just miss like people being able to be like, hey, like, can you put headphones in? Or, hey, like, we can all hear you. Like, maybe you can turn that down a little bit. But you can't say anything to them. And like, I really miss that about America is like, we definitely hold each other accountable to a certain standard of behavior, or at least it's more common for us to. Well, yeah, it's really annoying. It drives me absolutely bananas. It's been less bad in the last couple of years, but I think that's mostly just because I don't leave my house quite as much. I mean, sometimes young people do that stuff too, to foreigners in particular, where they'll just like stare at us, talk about us, that kind of thing. But it's always the older people that are like being incredibly rude, like listening to full blast YouTube videos. And it's so weird because like people here love hiking, particularly older people, and they'll go hiking, but they're listening to traditional Korean ballads full volume on their phone while they're hiking on the mountain. How peaceful. Like this, literally. I thought we were here to get peace and quiet. But nope. And then you go to the top of the mountain and they're drinking alcohol. 12 p.m. They roll hard here. I like it, I guess. And they're yelling. So, hiking here is more of a party event than it is having peace. So there's a lot of things that I miss about America, but I think that's one of them is just like, I understand our rules of rudeness a lot more. And I also feel like it's definitely easier for me to be rude because I don't always understand the local rules. Like the owner of the gym that I go to every day would say hello to me. And I thought it was weird or rude to interrupt him if he was busy. But it turns out if I just don't greet him, even while he's talking to somebody, that's kind of considered rude. So I have to just be like, 안녕하세요. Like he's having a conversation. I don't know. That just feels rude. So that's something I miss, is just knowing what the rules are. I just want to know what the rules are. Somebody tell me what to do. Yeah, so that's a really big thing for me. It's just knowing what to do. I will say something I absolutely don't miss about the United States is tips. Tipping isn't a thing here because like they pay restaurant employees like minimum wage at least, and usually the people who work in restaurants here are the owners, because the way that they've organized their restaurants is just super fuel efficient comparatively. And so you only need like 3 people to staff like an entire restaurant. And it's usually like homemade stuff. And so like I can go out and grab a huge meal with my husband. It's like $20. And I love that. We went to the States and I think we spent like $65 on 2 hamburgers. Just like $60. Excuse me, 60 freaking dollars. I don't understand how anybody's surviving in this economy. How is anybody making it in this economy? Are we okay? I don't know. I feel like millennials, we've really gotten it rough these last couple of years. What's interesting is America and Korea both have like a really intense birth rate problem. Korean people just aren't having kids. And it's gotten so bad that the government is like paying people to have children and helping to like subsidize the cost of having a kid because they're so like desperate to have children. So the average age of a Korean is 44. So we're having some really, really troublesome economic problems here in Korea right now. And it's probably just going to get worse. Because as the population ages, typically people retire. And when they retire, they have to go to the doctor more because that just happens as you get old. Your body needs attention. But there's too many people and not enough doctors. So who's going to take care of the aging population? I don't know, but it's not going to be me. And in like 20 years, when all the people who are in their 40s are trying to retire, they're not going to be able to. Because young people can't pay retirement for a population that's like 3 times as big as it. Right? So Korea is like having a hard time. And I told my husband that we should definitely move before then. We should like make sure that we're permanently out of the country before then, and like we've gotten rid of all of our assets and stuff tied to the country. But yeah, we're gonna have a rough go here in like a decade or two. I'm sorry, the webcam is focusing kind of, but it's slow. So thanks for your patience. I'm not gonna lie, this is a $7 webcam that I bought off of our like basically Korean Amazon. Okay, we're almost done through the first layer of highlight. Ah, Korea. I love it, I hate it. That's life, I guess. I guess that's life. I loved and hated Idaho, so I suppose that's, yeah, just the way that it is, eh? Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, so we got highlights, lowlights. We're going to start to kind of blend some stuff together here and do some more layers. Really quickly, though, I'm going to go in and kind of, I'm going to just kind of clean up some of these highlights edges. And actually, you know what I want to do? I think I solved the problem. I'm going to do this. Can you just, I don't know how to verbally explain what I'm about to do, so just bear with me, everybody. I'm also painting at kind of a weird angle just because of my setup, so I'm kind of like turned and like, it's okay, I'm learning. Same, yeah, I feel very similarly. I'm I'm sorry to hear that a lot of people are going through that. It's weird because it does make me feel better that I'm not alone in like feeling the experiences and the like emotions and things that I have about the condition of the world that we live in right now. Yeah, that's the one. But it does also just make me sad that we're all sort of living through this at the same time. Like, you always hope if you're going through a hard time that other people are okay and that other people are going to be able to survive that um, with happiness and be fine. But it looks like, yeah, we're all kind of struggle busting with that at the same time. And that's just, that's why I'm off social media. It's too much. Yeah, it's too much. It really truly is. Like I don't even know what to do with things, right? It's like I hear about all these things that are happening and they're horrible things and I just there is something to be said about feeling like we have some control and some power over our own domain, right? And I feel very powerless when I'm on social media and I see all of these horrible things that are happening in the world. And I can't help. And like, yeah, I know that people want me to think that sharing stuff on my feed is helping, and maybe it is. Maybe it's helping to spread the word, but I feel like I can't actually do anything about any of the situations that are going on. And so it begins, I think, on a social scale to erode our fundamental belief that we have some kind of control and power over our destiny, over the things that we're doing, over the world that we live in, at least a little bit. And I think that can, for self-esteem, that can really erode our self-esteem, our sense of, self cognition and self, basically trust in the self, right? There we go. Okay. Almost done with the highlights here. So after, yeah, in like 1 or 2 minutes, when I've kind of finished up all these highlight layers, I'm gonna call it for today and stretch out my spine. My spine's a little bit sad today. That's okay. That happens. But yeah, social media is awesome, and also it's terrible. I saw a creator, I don't know their name, so I'm not even keeping them private to like be gentle. I don't know who this person was. I think the pronouns are feminine. I'm not sure. This person, she was like literally screaming and was just like, if you're not doing X, Y, and Z to help the problem in Palestine, then you're part of the problem. And I was like, whoa, am I like part of the problem if I'm trying to like, I don't know. It was just like I felt really attacked and I didn't do anything. And I think about like, Diossy's classes where he talks about how like the sense of social urgency is a big manipulative tactic. And people will take advantage of the fact that like we empathize very much with humanity, and people will try to like take advantage of natural human empathy. And at the end of the day, like I can only do so much, right? I can only do so much. I can donate to causes, I can share to my story, right? But like I don't understand the purpose of trying to make somebody feel bad for having no power. And like I already feel terrible about the situation, and a lot of us do, but what do we do? What do we do? Other than donate, other than share, we can't do anything. And yeah, I think social media for me is like a reminder of how much power I don't have over anything that happens in the world. And I don't know. Things are complicated. I think things have always been complicated, but we just didn't know it because we had like, newspapers, and it took a while for newspapers to come out. And before newspapers, it was just like somebody yelling in the street center, like, "Did you hear that the king has died?" Like this is how people used to talk. So I think we just didn't realize how complex situations were. And I think we're undergoing this like pain of basically learning how awful the world is. And it's really the first time in history that we've been able to see all this stuff happen. But I'm also very highly suspicious of everything that I see. Like, I'm not taking any sides. I don't want to get into the deep depths of, the problems in the world. But for example, I have a friend who is from Tigray, which is a portion of Ethiopia, and he lives here in Korea. He hasn't been able to talk to his parents for off and on for about 3 years because there is an active genocide happening in Ethiopia. Where's the news about that? Right? Why is it only Palestine that we're hearing about? There's genocides happening in China against Muslims. Why are we not talking about that? Right? So I'm very, very, very suspicious of media that I see on the internet, right? It's like who's really deciding what it is that we have an interest in? Because it's definitely not just to solve a problem. It used to be just our community and surroundings, if that, but now it's the problems of the whole world for real. And the whole world is big, man. When you're this, I mean, it's small if you think about it as an airplane, but if you think about it as a human who has a naturally limited mental capacity, and most of us are tapped out as it is, right? Then thinking about the entire world, that can't, I hope this doesn't sound the way it's probably going to sound, but I cannot make the whole world my problem. My brain literally can't handle it, and none of our brains can handle it. And so I kind of take issue, right, with the issues. I take issue with the issues. It's like, who's deciding what it is that we care about, and what interests do they have? Because what I'm saying is like, what's happening in Palestine is horrible. So I don't mean to argue that point at all. But why Palestine? I think this is conveniently coming right before an election. I think that's why we care. Because it's easier to erode Joe Biden politically than it is to care about millions of people getting killed by their own government in Ethiopia. Because that matters more for our coming vote. Right. So when I hear all this stuff going on, I'm like, who's pulling the strings? Because it doesn't change my empathy toward the problem, but it does it does make me feel very frustrated. And so I think social media for me is a consistent reminder of propaganda. I mean, social media essentially functions as incredibly widespread, very influential propaganda. It's just called social media, not propaganda. Now it's called marketing. Oh, yeah, he's coming along real good, guys. He's coming along. What we're going to do next time, just to rapid fire change subject matters and kind of seam off this stream here for today, is what we're going to do next time is we're going to come back in here and add some kind of mid-tones, and we're going to sharpen up some of these shapes. Because right now he's a little bit like pretty. I want to make him a little bit ugly. I want him to look a little bit scary. So we're going to do some mid-tones, and then I'm going to come back into this base layer. I might just do this really quick. And yeah, we might just do that. Merge down, merge down. And we're going to kind of like deepen in some of this back color that's going on here. I'm just going to do that really quick, actually, while I'm thinking about it. Because essentially I'm going to draw in like a rough kind of like path that somebody might be following. Because the thing about spectators is you don't know that they're around usually. There's not really usually a ton of hints that they're there other than people who can't move or walk. They've been frozen. Oof, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on right now. I just got a message that says, oof, I'm sorry, with no context. I'm like, what did you do? Like, should I be nervous? Oh my gosh. People scaring me today. There we go. Okay, we'll call that for today. Okay, our little spectators coming about. I need to get into the tongue. I just realized I skipped that. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day, whatever corner of the continents and in the globe that you might be on. And then, yeah, I'll be streaming it's Sunday here in Korea, but I believe it's Saturday night in the States. Yeah, we'll be working on some monster manuals and some other stuff that whatever crosses my brain. But in the future, I definitely love to share the stage with anybody. If anybody wants to come on and just chill and draw and drink a coffee or whatever, we can hang out. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. I'm like, I don't know how to end this. Yeah, so I'll post this on. I think also on my TikTok. I'll post some highlights here and stuff as well. This has been a pleasure. This has been a lot of fun. We started in the we started on the rough patch, but we're getting there. All right, bye bye, everybody. Ding.